Tell them expression is gold. Sexual liberation has traded the substance of a woman for her appeal. Look, women are just as free as men sexually now than before. But men are degrading women left and right. However, women were forced to look a certain way to please men. Women today have reclaimed their rights to appear how they want to. Look, the way I see it, it's the womb versus the look. So you can say, hey, I want to look however the fuck I want to look. And then the guy's going to say, I'm going to be with you however I want to be with you. So, ask your homegirls, see what's more important. Being perceived as a sexual object or being perceived as a reproductive partner. Modern day folks have an abundant assessment of what the perfect relationship is supposed to look like and be like. But modern day folks have the most divorced and single people. So let's look at cultured mothers versus their liberated daughters. Women today are free. Women back then had no choice but to stay. Look, the way I see it, it's about sticking together to raise a family or personal happiness. You got to have that rumble within yourself and see, which one suits you, honestly. But put it in a group chat and see, how your folks think. What's more important to them? Lineage security or personal happiness? The progress of women fails when they defend women they don't want to be like. Look, all women are worthy, but there are women who devalue the image of women. However, when people call out the bitches, worthy women feel the need to stand up for bitches who do things they themselves don't stand for. If somebody says your child stinks, and your child actually does, after you cuss that person out, what do? Ask the group chat, what's a behavior that was displayed that you didn't stand for, but you defended that behavior of a woman that you would not want to be like, all because you just didn't like the person that called her out? Did you ever defend a bad behavior because of who called it out? Deep down, black women believe other race of women are better. There is an original look a black woman has, but black women are not trying to look like themselves or don't even know what that original look is. Meanwhile, the pressures of society, preference of black men, and systemic professional demands has impacted their appearance choices. Let's keep it real. If black women were in high demand, they would all leave black men. But that's a topic for another day, okay? We see other race of women, they want to darken their skin up. That's not what black women do. Black women actually try to lighten their skin up. So the proof is in the pudding. But the question is, if black people rule the world, ask yourself, what would you want to look like? What would you comfortably look like if you was a black woman and black people ruled the world? That's your image. Women need to learn how to groom men. Men are vulnerable now today more than ever, but women are complaining that men have become docile leaders. They even call men bitches. However, women also complain about male aggression and violence while asking for men to open up. Open up about what they're dealing with on the inside. Based on all of that, it's like women are policing how men should be vulnerable while telling men to be vulnerable. It's like when guys say a woman is a prude, and when she's not, he calls her a slut. Some women don't have the patience or the skill to learn a man. The easiest thing to do is to label that person. When you label that person, you get to escape the details. You understand what I'm saying? Look, the hard part is actually being somebody's life partner and trying to understand them. And you have to be their therapist. You got to be their lover. You got to be their mother. You got to be their assistant. You have to fill their void. That's if you want to be a life partner. Do you know how to make a man feel safe with you? Women are responsible for their own orgasm. I mean, they say they're freaky. You ever heard a girl say she's bad at sex? Nah, they say they're great at sex. They give the best everything. They're sex goddesses. They got nicknames for themselves. However, they say they don't orgasm. But the truth is, they don't know their own body. Pete, right? A sex partner, as much as you should please them, you should use them to please you. And if you think they would just magically figure your body out, okay, you just gambling. You know, you just gamble. Some gonna be good, some gonna be bad. And it just is what it is. At the end of the day, sex is a team sport. So if it's whack on his part, it was whack on your part too. Can you tell any, and I mean any stranger, how to make you orgasm? Men, women don't own the rights to sexual trauma. Whenever you think about sexual assault, you think about women. However, men, boys, get sexually assaulted every day. And either they don't know or don't want to play victim. Do women even ask men for consent? And if the idea is that they don't have to, why do you think she will grow up and ask a little boy consent? Men are usually hypersexual because they are introduced to sex at a very young age. So they grow up thinking chasing and acquiring sex adds on to their manhood experience. Now, if it's made okay for men to believe that they can also be sexual assault victims, maybe they won't come out publicly and speak about it, but they will personally seek help and face their problems and change. Now, the question is, how have you as a man dealt with your sexual trauma? Black men will find more peace dating white women. Look, white women don't have the same racial oppression, systemic oppression, lack of resources, and identity crisis that black women have to share with black men. Therefore, a black man dating a white woman will come with less drama and trauma to overcome. However, white women will always see themselves above black men because they partially cause the trauma that black men has to deal with black women when they are together. The sacrifice is to do what we can while we're here and to pass the work down on to the next generation. It's like if you want to quit smoking, you don't just say, I'm going to quit right here today and that's it. No. Say, I'm going to stop smoking for a month. Then I'm going to stop smoking for 3 months. I'm going to start smoking for a year. By the time you know, you quit. So what's the 200-year plan? What's the 500-year plan? We got to do what we can now and then pass it on down to the next generation. You understand what I'm saying? So if you look at it, what's more important to you? A peace of mind or racial progress? Black men today are the weakest men in the history of humans. No point in time in history did a race of men have populations across the entire globe and not fight back, but instead try to live to the standard of their oppressor. However, black men are still fighting the disease of identity crisis, the fear of military powers, and the idea of being a man. Look, the Chinese was fucked up. Look at them now. The Russians, they're coming. But black men are still asking for reparations. You know, I think when they gave us the label black, it made us want to get a taste of the other side of the coin because black and white are in direct competition, right? So if somebody say, I'm this, that means I'm high, and you this, that means you're low. Now you're trying to live up to that person's standard. Whereas when they said the Chinese man was yellow, he said, nah, I'm Chinese. So they're living up to their own Chinese standard. So my question is, do black men want to be white? Men hate women they can't afford. Men are raised to conquer and attain women as part of their dominance. However, some women just belong to other caliber of men because of their social status. You know, it's like if you can't get into the club, then you got to make up a reason why the club is bad or shitty or whatever, so that nobody looks at you and look at whatever that you lack, which is the reason why you can't get into the club. You understand what I'm saying? Let's just keep it real. Have you ever tore down a woman because you couldn't tear down her walls? Money talks, so men will use their wallet to draw in a woman, and usually the resourceful man gets the chicks. However, you can have the woman, but doesn't mean you got her heart. You got her pussy and her bills. Look, lead with whatever you want to build upon, whether it's love or a transactional relationship. Because if you want to switch up the pace and she's already comfortable with how things are, you're going to get fucked up, son. So, keep tricking or keep loving, or both. Or start with how you want things to be. Can you lead with money and find love later? Child support should only exist between divorced couples. Look, children are a great investment. However, men don't always have a say because they don't carry them. But when the baby arrives, the man becomes responsible and the court can get involved. I believe men should be able to financially abort fatherhood if the woman he has the baby with was just a fling and she selfishly decided to keep it, knowing the whole situation will bring nothing but pain and suffering. I believe the only time men should not be able to financially abort fatherhood and only time child support should apply is if the couple were married. When should men be able to financially abort fatherhood? Beyonce and Rihanna can only be Beyonce and Rihanna because they let Jay-Z lead. Some popular male and female artists have come under the Hove regime, and they've turned into billionaires. They themselves haven't turned anyone into billionaires, so Hove is the key to their success, evidently. However, there is a narrative push that Beyonce and Rihanna independently did it on their own. Look, there are women at home not asking for guidance or management because they think all they need is themselves. Beyonce made all the single ladies and she was in a relationship. Rihanna ain't no hoe. That was just a brand. She ain't out here messing with every nigga. Come on, man. That bad girl, that's an image. She's always been in relationships. You know? So you don't have to do it on your own. You don't have to be independent. You don't need a black man, but you need a man. True or false? The people are the devil celebrities sell their souls to. When celebrities gain fame, it's the people who boost them up. When celebrities lose fame, it's the people who tear them down. However, the public have this delusion about their power and actually think celebrities sell their souls to the devil when all the attention that turns into income comes from the public. You know how many celebrities are conforming, changing the idea of who they are to fit your idea of what they should be and what they should believe in and what they should support? All because of you? When they're winning, they don't praise the devil. They praise you. You're the one with the vice. You're the one they please. You're the one that like negativity. You're the one that likes to live vicariously through them. You like them to be in bullshit and shambles for your own pleasure and entertainment because you don't want to be in that. But you somehow think that they're not human and you should be allowed to say whatever to them and about them online and you should get away with it. If you had to pay to make comments about celebrities, you probably watch what you say. Or you probably wouldn't say shit at all. Should social media platforms start charging people to use the comment section? What if Jesus was gay? Jesus could have been gay. If the idea of Jesus being gay frustrates you, it's not blasphemous. You're just reacting to your homophobia. However, when you calm down, ask yourself, why do you automatically assume that he was straight? Did it say he was straight? Many ideas that we have of deities are of our own creation. So the idea of God, that's our creation. We created God in our own language and in our own limited imagination. So whatever you think of God, think the opposite. That's God too. But you want God to just be one way because that favors your way of how you want to see God, right? So my question is, what would you do if Jesus was gay? America used to be home of the brave. Now it's home of the victims. America is a superpower in competition with countries who want their turn in supremacy. So America has no time to play victim. America has no time to invest in victimhood. America has only time to promote victorhood and the best so they can uphold their supremacy. Okay? However, victims should not be silenced because being a victim is a real dilemma. But empowering victims and damn near making victimhood the new face of America, it's not for the country. That's for corporations who are trying to ride waves and eat. But the repercussions is that victims just want to raise awareness, while victors want to conquer. And America can only thrive off imperialism. So it's either America wants to lose its power and become like England, or make the heroes the faces of America again. Should America give up on imperialism and focus on the country, isolate, and try to make the country the best for everyone in the country, or focus on the best in the country and compete with the world? What do you want to see? The victorhood America or the victimhood America? Not agreeing to one aspect of transgender life does not make you transphobic. Many people don't believe that children should be able to change their reproductive system because they are not developed well enough to make such decisions. However, making that one statement, you can be labeled as being anti all and everything that has to do with being transgender. Look, I don't think a white person making a critique of one aspect of a black person makes them racist. No, that's all cap. And when it comes to transgender, look, if children are not developed enough to consent to having sex, how can they consent to changing their whole reproductive organs? My question is, when does criticism become anti? You can't be pro-black and send your kids through a white education system. Education is important because it's packaged information, ideology, history, and concepts to shape the minds of humans. Therefore, whoever has the power to educate regulates the perception and future of the people they educate. However, black people send their kids to white schools every day. The same people that they call out for oppression are the same people they send their kids to. And they're the same people shaping the minds of their children. And they're telling the story from their perspective. It's kind of messed up, huh? When you really think about it. But the question is, do black people have the resources to systematically educate their own? And how? There's an expression: there are no good men, niggas ain't shit. So let me ask, let's see what you consider to be a good man for you. 1, an ugly corporate nerd who's rich, who's a great father, but the sex game is bad. 2, an attractive street, low-income guy who's a great father, sex game is great. 3, an ugly street, rich man who is a great father, sex game is great also. Or 4, an attractive corporate nerd, rich man who is a struggling father, and the sex game is great. Ladies, which one of these men do you want? And are you speaking from what you just think you want, or are you speaking from an experience? There's an expression that snitches get stitches. Therefore, snitching is one of the biggest taboos in black culture. Let me ask you, if you were in a jam, there are two options. You can do 30 years straight, or you can put the case on your dead homie. What would you do? Yeah, you. What would you do? Are you speaking from what you think you would do, or are you speaking from an experience? There is an expression that a man has to pick the bill, and there are women who believe that a man should pay 100% of all of a woman's bills. Look, if a man who's been taking care of you for 10 years straight, 100% paying all the bills, if he loses his job, how long are you willing to stick around? What would you do? And what will be your expectations in that situation? There are many expressions. The black community is fucked up because of black women. The black community is fucked up because of black men. However, black men want to lead, and they want black women to submit. How do you want to be a leader and not accept that if what you want to lead falls apart, it falls on you? My question is, what have you established as a man for a woman to let you lead her? There's an expression, people say what other people want to hear, not what they're living. People say who they want to be, not who they are. People don't speak about their experience, they speak their fantasy. So I like to ask the tough questions. If a man puts his hands on you for the first time, and you have 3 kids, you're married, living together, and he's paying all the bills, honest moment, what are you gonna do? There's an expression men always use in the group chat. I fucked the shit out of her. This is usually to boost their ego and assert their manhood amongst their male friends. But most men don't ask women how the sex was. They just assume they beat the pussy up. My question is, if you text the last chick you had sex with and you ask her to rate the sex, you think it's something that you can post in the group chat?
Okay, how?